Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's pick-a-pile reading is all about who is currently into you or crushing on you. There are 3 piles for you to choose from. From left to right we have piles 1, 2, and then 3. Once you have picked your pile, head to the timestamp for it in the description below. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. Starting with this card tells us right away that you're in a very attractive energy right now. Triumph is about moving forward, gaining ground, and showing confidence whether you realize it or not. Someone out there sees you as powerful, capable, and maybe even a little intimidating. You're giving off serious main character energy, and it's catching their attention. The key detail here is that you're not chasing, you're leading. Whoever's crushing on you sees you as someone who's on your own path, doing your thing, and not desperate for attention. That sense of focus is drawing them in. Whether you've recently had a win or just feeling more clear about your goals, they're noticing that glow. There's also something about how you handle pressure. You may have come through something difficult recently, and you did it without losing your edge. That strength didn't go unnoticed. They might not know all the details, but they definitely respect the way you carry yourself. The bottom line is, someone sees you as someone worth watching, not because you're flashy or loud, but because you're consistent, solid, and clearly going somewhere. They want to be part of your orbit. This is definitely romantic. The Two of Cups is mutual attraction, real emotional connection, and chemistry that feels natural. The person crushing on you doesn't just admire you from a distance, they actually feel like there's potential here for something real, and they're hoping that you feel it too. If you've had any recent conversations that feel a little deeper than usual, or if there's someone who just seems to understand you on a different level, pay attention. This card suggests you already know them, or at least have had some kind of genuine interaction. It's not just a surface level thing. There's something that clicked, even if it was brief. What's also important is that this isn't about obsession or fantasy. It is grounded. They see you as an equal. They want to build something where you both bring something to the table, not just chase a feeling. This could be someone who's a little quiet about their interests, though. They might be trying to feel it out or see if you're open or waiting for the right moment to say something, but emotionally, they're definitely drawn in. Here is where things get a little more complex. The moon brings mystery, uncertainty, and sometimes confusion. This person may be feeling unsure about where they stand with you. They might not know how you feel, or they could be overthinking their own feelings and second-guessing what they're picking up from you. There's a good chance that this person has some fear of rejection, or they're not confident enough to just come out and say how they feel. They might be acting in subtle ways. They could be liking your posts, lingering in conversation, or giving you extra attention, but not making a direct move yet. That's moon energy all day. It's there, but it's not totally clear. This card can also point to someone who's caught up in a bit of fantasy. They could be projecting a lot onto you, especially if they don't know you super well. They're drawn in emotionally, but they might be idealizing you more than they realize. That doesn't mean their feelings aren't real, but it does mean they're still trying to figure out what's fact and what's just hope. Watch for someone who seems intrigued but guarded. They're feeling something strong, but they're keeping most of it under wraps. This crush is not coming from someone flaky or aimless. The Emperor is someone who's grounded, mature, and probably has their life together in a very practical way. This person could be a boss type, someone with leadership energy, or just someone who's used to being in control. They don't fall for people easily, so the fact that they're even catching feelings says a lot. They may also come off as a little stoic or guarded. The Emperor isn't usually the most emotionally expressive card, so this person might not be obvious with their interest. Still, underneath that control, they're serious about what they want, and they're not going to chase unless they sense you're open to it. There's also a chance that this person sees you as someone who balances them out. If they're used to leading or always being the one people rely on, your energy might give them a sense of ease or emotional depth they don't usually get. This isn't a casual crush. It's someone who's looking at the long game, even if they're keeping their cards close for now. This is a strong card of connection, celebration, and shared joy. It shows that this person isn't just attracted to you, they actually imagine what it would be like to build something with you. They could be daydreaming about future plans, shared space, or just feeling like you'd fit into their life in a really natural way. There's also a sense here that they feel a bond that's familiar. Maybe you remind them of someone they loved in the past, or maybe you just give off that energy of home and security. It's warm, grounded, and joyful, definitely more than a fling in their mind. They could be someone who shows up for you in small but meaningful ways, helping you out, celebrating your wins, or even being around during key moments. If they've been physically present for important events in your life, even casually, that's a strong sign. This card also confirms mutual potential. If you're feeling even a little of this energy too, it's worth exploring. The interest isn't just emotional, it's also about real compatibility. Now we get the twist. The devil brings passion, temptation, and obsession into the mix. This crush has depth, but it also comes with intensity. This person may be struggling to keep their feelings in check, or they might be attracted to you in a way that feels a little overwhelming, even to them. There's a physical, almost magnetic pull here. It could be someone who's trying to stay cool on the outside while their thoughts are way more than heated. That might explain why they're holding back or acting differently around you. They don't want to lose control or come off the wrong way. The devil can also mean that this person feels like you're a little out of reach, or that getting close to you would stir up parts of them that they're not used to dealing with. Maybe you challenge their usual emotional boundaries, or they're trying to balance serious interest with intense desire. This doesn't mean that they're toxic, but it does mean that they're dealing with some strong internal tension. They want you, but they're trying to keep it together. Watch for signals that they're drawn in, but keeping their distance. That's devil energy all the time. So pile 1, this reading is all about pointing to someone very real, very serious, and very into you. The Two of Cups confirms the emotional connection, and the Four of Wands shows real potential for a stable, joyful relationship. But the Moon and the Devil add layers. This person is dealing with fear, intensity, and uncertainty about how to approach you. The Emperor says that they're probably mature and put together, but emotionally they're more unsure than they let on. Triumph as your oracle card reminds you that your energy is magnetic right now. You're focused, confident, and people notice that. This crush sees all of that and is both drawn to you and a little unsure of how to step into your world. It might not be who you expect, but they're definitely watching, definitely interested, and maybe just waiting for the right opening to make their move. So that's what I'm getting for pile 1. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello pile 2, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. Right out of the gate, this card tells us someone sees you as a fresh start. There's something about your energy right now that feels like a reset for them, like you represent a different type of connection than what they've experienced before. Whether you realize it or not, you're giving off that new chapter vibe, like being around you could shift something in their life. This person might be drawn to the fact that you're evolving, moving forward, or clearly stepping into a new phase yourself. They could see you as someone who's on the verge of something big, and they want to be part of that momentum. Or they could be going through their own transformation, and the timing of your presence in their life feels significant to them. It's not just about surface-level attraction here. There is someone who feels like getting to know you could change the direction of their own story. There's curiosity, hope, and maybe even a little fear about what it would mean to open that door. They may not have said anything yet, but you've definitely sparked something real, and they're thinking hard about where it could lead. This confirms that the attraction isn't just emotional, it's grounded. The Ace of Pentacles is about real potential, long-term value, and something that could actually go somewhere. This person sees you as someone they could build with, not just flirt with. They're not crushing, they're actually calculating what it would look like to have a stable, serious connection with you. There's also a possibility that this is someone connected to your work life or a shared goal. They may admire how focused or driven you are and feel like your energy inspires them to step up. This isn't a daydreamer, they're practical and paying attention to whether this could realistically fit into their life. You represent more than just romance to them. You look like a real opportunity, someone who could add value to their world emotionally, mentally, and even materially. They're intrigued, and they're not taking it lightly. This card also suggests that if they do approach you, it won't be impulsive. They'll take their time, think it through, and come in with something real to offer, and not play games. Now we get into the tension. This person is definitely overthinking things. The Nine of Swords is anxiety, fear of rejection, or just emotional overwhelm. They may have some baggage from past relationships, or they might feel unsure if you'd even be open to something with them. This card often shows up when someone's up late replaying conversations or imagining worst-case scenarios. That's what's going on in their head. They want to move, but something is holding them back. It could be self-doubt, maybe fear of messing things up, or maybe they're worried that they're not in the right place to pursue something real. If this is someone you've interacted with already, they could be second-guessing how you responded. Maybe they tried to test the waters and felt like you weren't interested, even if that wasn't the case. Their own mind is getting in the way. They're not just casually crushing, they're wrestling with it. The kind of mental pressure usually means the feelings are deeper than they're letting on. Here we see more of the struggle. The King of Wands reversed is someone who usually exudes confidence, but right now they're feeling insecure or unsure of how to lead. This might be someone who's usually bold, even a little bit charismatic or dominant, but something about this connection has them off balance. It could be that they're intimidated by your energy. Maybe they see you as somebody who's got your act together or isn't easily impressed. That throws them off their game. They're used to being in control, and right now, they're not sure how to handle the way they feel about you. Another layer here is that this could be someone who's used to attention or being pursued, not the other way around. If you're not showing interest or giving them a clear signal, they might be hesitant to risk looking vulnerable. Their pride might be getting in the way of actually making a move. You might not expect this person to be feeling uncertain, especially if they usually come across as confident, but right now, that mask is slipping. They're feeling it, but they're stuck between desire and doubt. This card shows that they're actively thinking about their next move. The Two of Wands is all about planning, anticipation, and standing at the edge of a decision. They're not just wondering if they like you, they're asking themselves what it would take to actually do something about it. They're weighing the risk. Should they say something? Should they wait? Would it change the dynamic between you? There's also a sense of distance here, either emotional or physical. This could be someone who feels like they have to close a gap before they can really come forward, whether that's logistical or emotional readiness. But make no mistake, they're seriously considering it. This isn't just a passing crush. You've stirred something up, and now they're watching, waiting, and trying to figure out if this is the right time to step in. They haven't made their move yet, but they are close. They're just trying to get their courage up. This final card shows why they haven't taken action yet. They're still healing, still resting, or maybe just mentally drained. The Four of Swords is someone who needs to pull back before they can step forward. That could be related to past relationship pain, burnout, or even stress from another area in their life. Right now, they're in a bit of a retreat mode. They're thinking, observing, and maybe even trying to convince themselves that it's safer to wait. You might notice them being distant 1 minute and then engaged the next. That's part of this energy. They're not avoiding you out of disinterest because they're still working through something. This card doesn't mean that they've given up. It just means that they're not ready yet. They're rebuilding their confidence, processing their emotions, and watching to see how things unfold. Once they feel more stable, they're more likely to step forward. They're not just rushing in. They want it to be right. So pile 2, your reading is all about potential that's still in the planning phase. The person crushing on you sees you as a real opportunity, someone they could build something meaningful with. The Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Wands show real interest and serious thought, but the Nine of Swords, King of Wands reversed, and Four of Swords makes it clear they're dealing with internal fears, past wounds, and a lack of confidence right now. The New Beginnings Oracle says that they feel something different with you. You're not just another crush. You feel like a turning point. That's exciting for them, but that also brings pressure. They're being cautious because this feels too important to mess up. They're not moving fast, but they are watching, thinking, and hoping the time will come when they can step in with more confidence. So that's what I'm getting for pile 2. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. Right off the bat, this card tells us the person who's crushing on you is holding back. They're not rushing in, and they're not ready to reveal themselves just yet. The feelings are there, but the timing isn't lining up, at least not from their point of view. There's hesitation, and it's not because they're unsure about you, it's about them not being in a place where they feel confident enough to act. This is the kind of energy where someone is watching from the sidelines, running through all the what-ifs, and waiting for the perfect opening that may never come unless they take the risk. They're in their head, going back and forth, maybe trying to convince themselves to let it go, only to find they're still thinking about you anyway. Patience is a big theme here. You might already suspect someone has feelings but can't figure out why they won't just say something. This card confirms it. They're interested, but they're stuck in wait mode. And for them, the longer they wait, the more complicated it gets. They're caught in a loop, hoping for clarity and hoping for a sign from you, and trying not to make the first move until they're sure that it's safe. This person has leadership energy deep down, but right now they're not stepping into it. The King of Wands reversed is someone who normally wants to take charge, but in this case, they're doubting themselves. They may feel like they don't measure up or that you're out of their league and that insecurity is stopping them from acting. You may know them as someone who's usually confident, even bold, but when it comes to you, that energy collapses. They don't want to come off as needy or worse, fail at something they really care about. So instead of leading, they're withdrawing. This can also point to someone who's used to being admired or chased, not doing the chasing. You've flipped that script on them, and they're not sure how to handle that. They still want control, but they don't know how to go after what they want without risking vulnerability. What's clear is this. They want you, but right now, they're not showing up as their best self. Not because of you, but because of their own fear of falling short. This person is carrying way too much. The Ten of Wands reversed shows someone who's overwhelmed, burned out, or just plain exhausted. They might be dealing with stress in their personal life, which could come from work or responsibilities, even past relationships, and right now they don't feel like they have the space or energy to pursue something real, even though they want to. They could also be in a place where they're trying to convince themselves that catching feelings is just one more burden they can't handle, so they bury it, and they tell themselves that it's not the right time. They try to focus on everything but the way that they feel about you. This card also shows someone who's tired of doing all the emotional heavy lifting. If they've been through relationships where they were always the one putting in more effort, they may be scared to start something that could require that again. They're protective of their time, energy, and peace, even if that means missing out. The interest is real, but they're weighed down. Until they release some of what's holding them back, they're gonna keep stalling. This is someone who's been through it emotionally. The Nine of Wands shows a person who's guarded, cautious, and not quick to trust. They've been hurt before, and they're not trying to go through that again. But they also haven't given up. They're still watching, still holding space for something more, even if they're scared. You may notice that this person is kind of hot and cold. They might engage for a bit and then pull back. That's not about a lack of interest, it's about self-protection. They want to connect, but every part of them is saying, don't get hurt again. There's a quiet strength here. They've been through enough to know what they don't want, but they're still open to something that feels different. And you, in their eyes, feel different. That's what both drawing them in and making them nervous. If they come forward, it's going to be slow and cautious. They need to know that it's safe first. Here is the hope. This person may be hesitant and guarded, but deep down they're ready to build something real if the conditions are right. The Page of Pentacles is someone who's willing to learn, grow, and start fresh, even if it's awkward or uncertain at first. This could be someone younger, or at least someone who feels like they're starting over in love. They're not flashy, but they're serious. If they do take a step towards you, it won't be a grand gesture. It'll be a thoughtful, steady move to see how you respond. They're paying attention to the details. They notice how you talk, how you react, and how you treat people. This isn't a shallow attraction. They're studying the situation because they want to get it right. They really don't want to mess this up. If you've been picking up small signals, support, thoughtful compliments, even extra effort from someone who usually keeps to themselves, this could be them trying to show you how they feel without coming out and just saying it. Here is the final piece. This person feels trapped by fear, doubt, or their own overthinking. The Eight of Swords is someone who's mentally stuck. They think about making a move, then immediately shut themselves down. They don't see a clear path forward, even though one is there. They just can't access it right now. A lot of this is internal. It's not that the situation is hopeless, it's that they've convinced themselves that it is. They might assume you wouldn't be interested, or they think they're not good enough, or even that they're waiting for a sign you might not even know they need. This is classic stuck in their head energy. The feelings are real, the hesitation is real, but the block, it is mostly fear. Until they face that fear, they're going to keep circling the same thoughts without acting on them. If you want this to move forward, it may take a signal from you. Not a big gesture, just something small that lets them know it's okay to speak up. Otherwise, they might stay stuck for a while. So pile 3, this person crushing on you is fighting a mental battle. They want to come forward, and the Page of Pentacles shows that they're serious. But the King of Wands reversed and the Eight of Swords tells us they're locked in fear. They see potential, but they don't trust themselves to follow through. The waiting game oracle nails it. They're stalling, not because the interest isn't there, but because the fear is stronger than the confidence right now. This isn't a casual crush. It's someone who sees you as important, but feels like they're not ready or not enough. They're watching, thinking, and hoping the time will be right. The feelings aren't going anywhere. They're just waiting to see if they're allowed to grow. So that's what I'm getting for pile 3. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time.